think completely a different dimension which is happening in the market is, and you will be seeing this in your household also. Compared to us, our next generation is very demanding as a consumer. They need customized products. So personalization, even for a commodity like a car, is going to be the next reality. Now, if that is the case, what is happening for, and when I talk to my friends from different sectors, manufacturing has to become more and more modular if one has to cater to the personalization. So this is a dimension which again we are keeping in our long-term planning when we are working. How do we cater to the needs of the personalization of the market? So now with this background, the multiple powertrains and the personalization, what we are trying to do is, see, we have been, in Industry 4.0 scenario for many years now. Of course, we have always had the robots doing the assembly in the line and so on and so forth. This has been going for many years. Now, over the last 5 years, if I talk about, and particularly the last 2, 3 years, the number of connected assets is increasing. Today, as we speak, the connected machines for us will be about 80% close to. Some of the lines are close to 100%, some of the lines slightly lower, but on an average, the connected asset will be about 80% of the portfolio, which means the machines are generating a lot more data. Now that brings along with its own complexity, because one has to logically first analyze the data, make sense of it, some of the things which Rainer was starting, and then how do you kind of go deeper into the insights of it and get a cost advantage, because there's a lot more data available in that scenario now. Along with that, keeping the whole sustainability framework in mind, we took a decision about a year and a half back to migrate to what is now called as Industry 5.0 from the conventional Industry 4.0, which means, to put in very simple term, element of sustainability, element of human centricity into the whole aspect. So in terms of the broad initiatives, and Aditi would let me know when to stop because otherwise I can keep going on and on. But broadly, in terms of the initiatives which we are doing, one big pillar of this whole journey is human centricity, where we are working on topics like Gen AI based digital work instructions to see that how we can have various video based guidelines for the training side, even at the lowest level of the operator, so that it makes things easier for them. The second thing on this whole concept of collaborative robots and further automation in assembly. So there's a lot of interesting stuff which is happening on cobots. The third thing which is happening is, he was talking about metaverse, which is the wearable devices, and how do you get a cloud, how can you do a maintenance sitting remotely. So those are the kind of the stuff which is happening on the metaverse space. So that's something which is going on. So that's predominantly on the broad initiatives on human centricity. On the sustainability aspect of it, we have already initiated a energy dashboard at a supervisor level, so that they can monitor their own energy score for a particular line and then build on further targets on that. So the whole idea is not to keep a target at a 50,000 feet level, but go granular, go to the lines at a supervisor level, have an energy dashboard which gives them the target. So that's another initiative which is going on. The third one, what we call, is the pillar of resilience. Now, under the pillar of resilience, what we are doing is various AI initiatives for quality control, primarily driven by various automations of vision. How can you use the vision technology to automate the whole inspection, defect shooting, troubleshooting. So that's a lot of work which is happening on that. IoT based condition monitoring for tools and spare parts. Again, a lot of work is happening on that. Digital twins, again going back to the metaverse example, digital twins and going on to this. So those are the broad initiatives which we are working on. Of course, before I close, I will also highlight some of the challenges which comes along with it. So one of the big challenges which comes along with it is cybersecurity, because now you are dealing with terabytes of data. So the cybersecurity has to be looked into at a completely different dimension. So, and it is more real than what you think. So again, how do you kind of declutter the network, make it more localized, so that if there is an attack, it is localized to that particular aspect of it and not the entire organization is doing this. There's a lot of deep work which needs to happen with this whole Industry 5.0 or 4.0 on the cybersecurity space. So this is one thought I'll leave you with, guys. Then the whole data architecture planning, because now with the terabytes of data, it is very, very important that the whole architecture of the data planning happens. and it's an ecosystem. Now, starting with your system of record to your entire business analytics layer to the various, I would say, the predictive layers which one uses for collaboration. He touched upon the SCADA example, but that's exactly what it is happening. You have machines which communicate two ways. It gets through a SCADA into an integrated layer of machining. On top of it, you have the third layer, which is the app and analytics layer. You take data, do various predictives. So this has become like a new normal now for most of the good companies. And how can you maintain this whole ecosystem? That's where the richness of data comes in. Since I'm a CFO, I will not go without a finance example. So one of the things which is happening along with this is we are revisiting our entire costing system. Because when those systems were designed, say 20 years back, 15 years back, the landscape was different. Now machines are communicating a lot more. So the whole concept of an activity-based costing or a zero-based costing is something which is extremely critical so that we cost our products correctly and it is in line with what is happening today in the operation. So that's one final thought I'll leave with you. So that's a broad landscape. Happy to come back later for more questions.
Yes, and thank you. Arnab, there will be questions. Yeah. Your American factory will produce enough batteries or supply critical materials for 300,000 electric vehicles annually. I explained to them your background before you came. So we are already impressed. But you know what is remarkable is that Rajat set up